Well, welcome to the Fitz Report. I'm editorial cartoonist Dave Fitzsimmons, and with me today is my interview guest, councilman Steve the Kozachik. And you represent which ward?
Ward 6, right in the middle.
How many council people are there?
6.
And
What's the mayor?
let's see, you have 6 council people and the mayor. And what are the vast powers of a council person?
Oh my God. By charter, we're responsible for some pretty specific things, public safety, transportation, parks. Beyond that, it's really the main thing we deal with is budget. Beyond budget, nothing else matters. If we can't afford it, we can't do it.
You like the budget, don't you? You're a budget guy. You're a numbers guy.
Well, you know, it's the most important thing I think that we do. I'm data-driven, we are data-driven. And
your day job is a data-driven job, isn't it?
Well, actually, what I do at the university is capital projects for the athletics department. And so a lot of that is budget control also.
That's a great tie-in to city budgeting.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of it's kind of somewhat similar.
Well, it's project management. When I started this gig, we were in the middle of a pretty stupid hotel project that would have backstopped $200 million worth of bonds on the back of the taxpayers. Yeah. That was kind of in my wheelhouse.
Is that what moved you to run the first time?
Yeah, it was. Rio Nuevo was an abject mess.
Oh, it was
created
an abject
by the
mess.
city.
Yeah, it's great cartoon material.
Yeah, I'm sure you're sorry it's gone away. But,
I am. Too bad about the money. It's only money, right?
I don't care. Look, my goal in life is to make you irrelevant as far as a cartoonist is concerned. So we're working on that.
Good luck. Well, you know, if I read your newsletter. And I often read your newsletter. I have to tell you, if you want to read an entertaining newsletter, this man's newsletter is very entertaining. You're pondering the widening of Broadway issue, and you actually went out in the middle of Campbell to measure it, to do sort of a comparative study on your own. Tell me about that.
In 2006, the RTA ballot came out, and the voters approved a 150-foot wide crosswidth for Broadway.
6 lanes?
Well, it was 6 plus 2 transit lanes.
Right.
So
that's pretty big.
Yeah, it is pretty big. And when you compare it to the newly rebuilt Campbell Avenue, which is 96 feet, you have to wonder what they were planning on for Broadway. And so one thing they were planning on was traffic projections that never panned out. But they were basing these projections on 25-year-old data.
Right.
So the goal is, how do we take a $71 million project that right now is programmed for knocking down 115 to 120 businesses on the north side of Broadway. That's the tax
revenue
base.
generators.
It's the tax base we need to pay for the project.
Right.
So constrict the roadway crosswidth so that it makes sense, still is functional, and saves the taxpayers money.
And it's my understanding the neighborhood's constituents would be happy with a narrower version.
Oh yeah. I mean, the goal is to make it a destination. And on the north side, you've got a lot of historic buildings, and we'd like to preserve those. They've got a lot of small businesses. We'd like to preserve those.
Speaking of destinations and businesses, there's been a little conversation about a noise ordinance. Is it too noisy downtown?
Well, you know,
because I'm asleep at that time.
Yeah, I'm generally too, but you know, we got reports, right? So we created an entertainment district in the downtown core, which is a good thing. You know, it's part of the whole revitalization effort that we're doing.
Is that a district for coding questions or
entertainment?
Yeah, when you say an entertainment district,
it is by geography, and so we circumscribe the downtown core and say within this area you can do certain things that you might not be able to do in a residential district.
Right.
The problem, Dave, is that we've got a whole new demographic moving in downtown. It's not just students any longer, and that's by design. We want a new demographic. We've got apartments.
Also, it's students. I thought that the noise issue would be bicyclists being run over by the streetcar and screaming.
Not yet. Because the streetcar hasn't started running for revenue. We'll get
I see I see it being tested. People are yelling at it. It's empty. It's being tested.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
But the purpose of the noise discussion is, do we want to formalize a decibel level, or do we just want to kind of self-police? My bias is to self-police. We don't need to write another code down.
Right.
Hopefully.
That's painfully sensible.
I'm sorry, but you know what? We had a couple bad actors. We got their attention. One of them went out of business, so you know, kind of good news,
Would you
bad
describe
news.
yourself as a pragmatist?
I would hope so.
I'm kind of curious about your political affiliation. You were a Republican, then you shifted over to Democrat, and I wonder why didn't you choose to be an independent?
Well,
just for the wise politics of being a Democrat?
Frankly, if I were being completely intellectually honest, I probably would be an independent. But the pragmatism is that you can't run a successful political campaign kind of going right down the middle, and then everybody looks at you saying, should I support this guy or not?
Right.
You know,
Well, that's
the
true.
dirty politics are that you need to raise funds, you need to affiliate with certain groups and that can get you into fundraisers, and so, you know, so I chose the party with which I'm the most philosophically oriented, aligned. In this state, that's not real tough when you look at the state legislature,
Right.
generally led by several Neanderthals and several people who are even less progressive than that.
Whoa, well, I would say that maybe at that point,
Yeah.
this would be a good point to end part one of this interview, so we
Okay.
can start reading all the hate mail that'll be pouring in from Neanderthals upset with your comments.
It was offensive to them, wasn't it?
It
You know,
was.
because some of the people in the legislature don't even raise to that level. So.
And we'll be right back with part two of my interview with Councilman Steve Kozachik.